Good morning, class of 2021. President Reed, deans, honored guests, members of the graduating class, family, faculty, staff, and all of those joining us today, both in person and virtually for this very special ceremony. Welcome to the commencement exercises for St. Joseph University's class of 2021. Please rise for the invocation, which will be offered by our Executive Director of Mission Programs, the Reverend Daniel R.J. Joyce of the Society of Jesus and St. Joseph's class of 1988. Following the invocation will be the singing of the national anthem by members of the university singers. Father Joyce.
And let us pray. Pope Francis declared this year the year of St. Joseph. It is in the spirit of our patron saint that we invoke God's blessings today upon our graduates. God of creative love, we ask you to look upon our graduates on this day to celebrate the gifts you have given them by way of their talent, their good work, their calling as persons now formed in the knowledge and virtue to be leaders advancing the common good of all. These graduates, like the patron of their university, St. Joseph, have journeyed through challenging times and held fast to the course, remained faithful to the work, and demonstrated creative courage. We gather with our graduates to ask that your constant care and providential grace continue to carry them forward as they commence to be creators of the future and workers constructing a world defined by justice, goodness, peace, and above all, love. May the spirit of St. Joseph that embraced them as students live strong and never die. Amen.
Please be seated. Thank you, Father Joyce. University singers.
Please stand for the national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
That was really beautiful. Now, please be seated. Good morning. We have gathered here today on campus and via live stream to honor our graduates and to call them home to celebrate the achievements of the class of 2021. Near or far, you have our sincere pride and admiration. This ceremony is an important milestone. Our graduates have reached the end of one part of their life's journey and now begin the next. Typically, we would be joined today by members of our 50th anniversary class, our Golden Hawks, from the class of 1971. This long-standing tradition is a symbol of the lasting connection our students will have with the university. Through the bonds we've built on this campus, we share a common story, and we're united today, as always. To our Golden Hawks, watching us via live stream, congratulations, and thank you all for all you have done for St. Joseph's University. Let's take a moment to offer the Golden Hawks a round of applause. At this time, I would like to introduce Maura Flynn, a double major in biology and psychology and a participant in the McNulty Scholars Program. Ms. Flynn will offer the student remarks. Please welcome Ms. Flynn to the stage.
Good morning, President Reed, distinguished faculty and staff, honored guests, family, friends, and graduates. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Fellow graduates, as we celebrate all we have accomplished in these past 4 years, I would like to invite you to reflect back to your first days on campus. Like most people, as a freshman, I struggled to find my place on campus. The transition to college was a much larger one than I had expected. I'd come from a small town and lived in the same home my entire life, so college was a bit of a shock. Trying to find friends, I attended all kinds of events. I remember one event in campus ministry in which a group of upperclassmen were answering questions about life at SJU. A campus minister asked them, "When did you start calling campus home?" When I first heard this question, I was shocked. I would never refer to campus as home, I thought. Flash forward a little over a year, and I'm standing in my parents' kitchen talking about when I'll be driving back to school, and I say to my mother, "I think I'll drive home Sunday afternoon." I remember her looking at me and saying, "Maura, you are home." In that moment, I suddenly realized how much of my heart was at St. Joe's. It might be cliche, but it is true. Home is where the heart is. And our campus, our St. Joseph's University community, truly has heart and makes for a great home. It is at SJU where you will find hundreds of students dedicating time each week to the service for others. It is at SJU where people will hold the door for you for an uncomfortably long time as you're walking towards the building. It is at SJU where faculty will ask you by name every morning on Mondays to see if you did anything fun over the weekend, just to get to know you better. It is at SJU where students become leaders and take on projects to make our campus a better place, such as coordinating events for Day of Dialogue or setting up a community garden to feed our surrounding neighbors. During our time on Hawk Hill, our classes and dedicated faculty helped expand our minds with knowledge and grow our skills through group projects, research, and assignments. But the more important growth occurred in the late-night conversations of McShane Hall, in the laughter of the new side of the library, in the Sunday brunches of Campion. It is in these places that we grew our hearts. And it is our strong hearts and sense of community that allowed us, the class of 2021, to overcome such vast challenges. In our junior year, our lives were greatly disrupted by the coronavirus pandemic. But together, we stayed home, learned to take classes online, and navigated the ever-changing world during a pandemic. We succeeded at staying healthy and protecting each other while keeping the heart of campus alive. It's easy to get caught up in our SJU bubble, to think that all college campuses share the same values as we do, that all homes are the same. But this is not true. There are not many universities that challenge their students to think about ethics in whatever field they are studying, or who have multiple opportunities for students to complete a year of service after graduation. St. Joe's is a unique place filled with special people dedicated to contributing to the world's work. We are challenged here to go the extra mile and to live greater. We continue to be challenged as we enter our careers for the first time. Our time at St. Joe's has ended. Each one of us is moving on to create new homes. But I urge you all to take the heart of St. Joe's, the heart of the Hawk, and bring it to wherever your new home is. This is how the Hawk lives on, in the hearts of all of us. And when we bring our gifts and knowledge to new places, as we build new homes, we share the heart of St. Joe's with others. We contribute to the world's work, and we lead with hope. When we do this, the Hawk will never die. Congratulations, class of 2021.
Excellent job, Ms. Flynn. Beautiful words. Now's the time of our ceremony that we honor our faculty with the highest awards of the year. Our first honoree is Dr. Stephen J. Porth of the class of 1980, Professor of Management, who is this year's recipient of the Lindback Award for Distinguished Teaching. Dr. Porth's signature course is Business Policy, the Hobbs School of Business's undergraduate capstone course, which he was instrumental in founding and for which he wrote the text. He is also the senior editor of the Journal for Jesuit Business Education, a peer-reviewed interdisciplinary journal of the Colleagues in Jesuit Business Education, which is dedicated to the publication and distribution of scholarly work with a focus on the distinctiveness of business education in the Jesuit tradition. Dr. Porth serves as the NCAA faculty advisor, supporting student athletes in their academic pursuits. He has made numerous contributions to the Hobbs School's MBA programs and is at the forefront in the development of new courses. Congratulations, Dr. Porth. Secondly, I'm pleased to congratulate Dr. Tani Jambalingam, Professor of Pharmaceutical and Healthcare Marketing, on being chosen to receive the Tengelman Award for Distinguished Teaching and Scholarship. Dr. Jambalingam is widely regarded as a pharmaceutical and healthcare industry expert with an extensive scholarship portfolio, publishing impactful articles in peer-reviewed journals in economics, marketing, and management. He has presented his research in more than 50 international, national, and regional conferences. Dr. Jambalingam has received several Best Paper Awards and is also the recipient of the 2017 and 2019 Emerald Literati Network Award for Excellence for articles he has published in the International Journal of Pharmaceutical and Healthcare Marketing. Dr. Jambalingam's research and industry expertise has helped him to shape his teaching at the undergraduate, MBA, the Pharmaceutical and Healthcare MBA programs for industry executives and physicians. He belongs to Rho Chi, the Pharmacy Honor Society, and Beta Gamma Sigma, the Business Honor Society. Congratulations, Dr. Jambalingam. This year's recipient of the Catherine S. Murray Lifetime Service Award is Dr. Raquel Kennedy Bergen of the class of 1989, Professor of Sociology. Dr. Bergen has been with the university for more than 25 years and spearheads the Rape Education and Prevention Program, through which she has helped to create safe spaces for students experiencing sexual assault and harassment. Dr. Bergen is actively involved in community-engaged scholarship that helps survivors. She also works with the Kristen Mitchell Foundation, played a pivotal role in the university's Women's Center initiative, and has served as an appointee by the governor on the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania's Ethics Commission. Congratulations, Dr. Bergen. At this time, I invite Dr. Ronald Dufresne, Associate Professor of Management and Director of the Leadership, Ethics, and Organizational Sustainability Program, to offer the commencement address for the class of 2021. Dr. Dufresne is a former military intelligence officer who brings this experience to his scholarship in the areas of management, ethics, and leadership. He is widely published and has been the recipient of University Faculty Merit Awards in the areas of teaching, research, advising, and service, along with the 2014 Beta Gamma Sigma Professor of the Year Award and the 2017 Alpha Sigma Nu Teacher of the Year Award. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Ron Dufresne.
Good morning. President Reed, Provost McConnell, deans, guests, especially guests on Sweeney Field this morning. So they're across City Ave, overflow seating. So Sweeney Field guests, on the count of 3, I want you to please yell congratulations, all right? We're gonna listen. 1, 2, 3. We heard you loud and clear. Thank you. Class of 2021, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to join you today. I feel genuinely blessed to be able to be here, to have a front row seat for a day that you worked so hard and so long to realize. You know, when I first heard that the COVID precautions meant that faculty wouldn't be able to come, I was really bummed out. This is a really big day for us as faculty. It's my favorite day of the year, to see your hard work pay off, to see your smiles, to see the smiles on the faces of your family and friends. So I did what anyone would do, and I started to beg Dr. Reed. I said, please, let me find a way to come, to show up. So I said, can I please just come and clean the high-touch surfaces? He said, we don't need that anymore. And I said, can I come and cut the grass before the ceremony? So that's kind of weird. Can I hold an umbrella to keep the sun out of your eyes? He kept saying no, and it turns out everything that I had proposed, the great committee had already thought of, so I thought, there goes my chance. But I guess it wore him down enough that Dr. Reed eventually caved in and asked me to attend and say a few words. And I'm deeply humbled by this opportunity. You know, over the past few years, my brothers in Delta Sigma Pi business fraternity, they're also sisters, but they call themselves brothers, and I'm proud to be a brother, have run a series of last lectures inspired by Professor Randy Pausch, who gave his last lecture before he sadly succumbed to pancreatic cancer. So the last lecture series is an opportunity for professors to give their best shot. And I gave a last lecture a few years ago that a few of you might have slept through. Today, I will actually give your last lecture as a student here at St. Joseph's. So hopefully it's not my actual last lecture, but it is yours. And today's last lecture, today's lesson, is about a leadership lesson on resilience and courage. This lesson is something you already know, I think, a lot about. In fact, every time that you have said or heard, "The hawk will never die," it's a lesson in resilience. Psychologists define resilience as the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, or significant sources of stress. It's not only about bouncing back from one difficult experience, it's about emerging stronger and better equipped for the next difficult experience. You know, I think it's safe to say that we've all experienced adversity and stress over the past few years. As a baseline, college is hard. Especially over the past few semesters, we've experienced adversity and stress. Classes suddenly switched to online. Spring breaks and study abroad canceled. Sports seasons canceled. No Appalachian experience. Weekly service sites closed. Internships canceled. Going to quarantine. Going back to quarantine. Battling COVID. Having loved ones battle COVID. Losing a loved one and not being able to be there for their funeral. Adversity, trauma, and stress. I don't think it's an understatement to say that this shared adversity and stress will be an inflection point for your generation. It'll be a great opportunity for building resilience. Resilience, though, doesn't just magically happen. We don't automatically bounce back and emerge stronger. We need to work to make that happen. You know, more often than not, we can't change our context, but we can change how we respond to the context, and that's what leadership, I think, is partially about. And that's what resilience is about. Thankfully, research has uncovered a few keys to building resilience. They're connections, well-being, perspective, and purpose. With connections, it's about cultivating relationships that allow us to be there for others and to have them there for us. we don't go through adversity and stress alone. With well-being, this is physical, emotional, spiritual well-being. We're more resilient when we're well-rested, when we eat well, when we exercise. And it's also about choosing optimism, having an attitude of gratitude, exercising self-compassion, finding beauty in the midst of pain, and forgiving ourselves when we're stressed and in grief. With perspective, the third point is about our mindset. It's controlling what you can and worrying less about the things that you can't control. Having a growth mindset, looking for lessons in failure and setbacks. And finally, with purpose. This is looking for, as Frederick Buechner says, where my talents and deep gladness meet the world's deep hunger. How can I, even in this state of adversity and stress, still serve others? Those are the four keys: connections, well-being, perspective, and purpose. And here's the thing. These also happen to be the hallmarks of a great college education. For me, other than the lessons that I learned from my parents, I learned more how to be a resilient leader by reflecting on the adversity and stress that I experienced in my college education at West Point. For you, your Jesuit education, this great education that you just spent 4 years earning, is no different. St. Ignatius was a true genius, a real student of human nature. And his life story is all about resilience. Exactly 500 years and 2 days ago, the life that he had well planned was shattered by a cannonball. You've heard that story. 500 years and 2 days ago. But instead of giving up, he bounced back and recalibrated his life's work that ultimately set the trajectory for your sitting here today at your graduation, ready to launch into the world as resilient graduates of St. Joseph's University. Your Jesuit education is all about resilience, knowing that life presents challenges and equipping you with the tools to respond to and ultimately grow from adversity. With connections. You know, one of the first things that you learned about our Jesuit identity is that we are men and women with and for others. We seek companionship, real human relationships with others, and we look for ways, small and large, to make a positive difference in their lives. We saw this at work this academic year, when your concern for our community, for each other, led you to take our precautions so seriously that we were one of the few schools in the country that were able to stay on campus all year long. You should be so proud of yourselves for that. Being men and women with and for others is about building connections that will help us and those around us through adversity. You know, although I didn't have the great fortune of this a great St. Joseph's education, I did learn about connections through my undergrad experience. I learned that individual and leadership growth is not just up to us as individuals. This is a collective effort that we must take on as a group, as a community. You know, to be a men and women with and for others also means being willing to accept their being a man or woman with and for us. So to have the sense of connection, the sense of community, is to be willing to be open to their help. I know personally I love helping and supporting others more than seeking help and support. And that's wrong, I think. If we are to build a community of being men and women with and for others, we have to let us be there to allow them to support us. Seeking help is a sign of resilience. That second point, well-being. You've also learned during your education here that lesson about finding God, finding good in all things. You know, it's certainly easier when walking around campus on a beautiful day like today, when talking with your best friend, when eating a hawk wrap. But it's also important to keep this in mind when things aren't going well. Training our attention on moments of kindness or even the great fortune of being alive at this time on earth. Moments of kindness and beauty are always there. When we choose gratitude and optimism, we enhance our physical and emotional well-being, and we're building resilience. This year, I've been starting every class with a moment of gratitude. So a bunch of you have reminded me, sometimes I've forgotten, those of you who are in my class this year. And for us, it's about hunting the good stuff. And I intended for it to help our students build optimism and hope and resilience. And ultimately, something I came to count on. It was a great reminder for me, because this was a tough year for all of us. Great reminder for me to recognize just how blessed I am. I'm so blessed to be here. I'm so blessed to have an amazing wife and son and family. I'm so blessed to get to work with you, the best students anywhere in the country. That third point, with perspective. You know, whether you were aware of it or not, many of your teachers over the past 4 years used the classic Ignatian pedagogy approach of using experience, reflection, and action, this cycle. This ties to the Jesuit challenge of being a contemplative in action. We develop a practice of reflecting on our experience to inform more thoughtful action. This helps us to keep perspective and maintain the ability to learn from anything, successes and triumphs, and setbacks and failures. The other part about perspective is having what in leadership we call an internal locus of control, knowing that there are many things in our lives that we cannot control, but we have to look for ways to take ownership over those things that we can control. That's an internal locus of control. I'm more willing to learn from my experiences if I feel like I can make a difference. The first day for me of basic training at West Point, I learned that the only acceptable response when things didn't go according to plan was to tell that superior, no excuse. Late for class one day? No excuse. Failed a test? No excuse. And what that does is it forced me not to externalize. What I can control, I need to look to control. Here at St. Joe's, you learn that being a contemplative in action means not sitting around and waiting for others to tell you how to solve a problem. You jump in, assert yourself, and do what you can to make a difference. No excuse. That fourth point, on purpose. Your St. Joe's education has helped you learn more about your talents and gifts and how they might be used in service of others. To paraphrase Luke from his chapter 12, of those to whom much is given, much will be required. It's second nature for you to contemplate how best to serve others. And doing so will help us keep our North Star in sight even when it seems obscured by storm clouds. We know the work we do helps create our purpose. Purpose isn't something out there for us to hunt and find. It's something for us to construct, one decision at a time. When I was your age, sitting in a graduation seat like you are today, I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. I knew I was about to be commissioned as an Army officer, but beyond that, I had no idea. And I ended up doing what I think purpose-driven leadership is about, and that is I just did my best. That's it. I moved in the direction of using my meager talents to serve others, not knowing where it would lead me. And as I was leaving the Army, I kept a journal to keep track of those things that made me feel alive, and those things that kind of brought me down. And I realized that what I wanted to learn more about was what makes people more effective at work. And I ended up finding a master's class that I was able to take part-time, and it was organizational behavior. And I loved it. And that's what led to me being here today. If that section had been full, or if I tried something else on my experiment list, I wouldn't be here today. I'd be somewhere else having constructed a different purpose. But here I am, still moving in that direction of trying to serve others with whatever talents that I might have. Connections, well-being, perspective, and purpose. So I have great faith in your ability to reflect on and to learn from this past year and a half of real adversity and stress because of your great Jesuit St. Joseph's education. You will emerge more resilient. You will grow that capacity to grow your resilience over time. And ultimately, resilience allows us to tap into that great superpower known as courage. Courage means being willing to take risks to make a positive difference for others, even if we might suffer as a result. It's about, in the words of the West Point Cadet prayer that I learned 30-some years ago, choosing the harder right instead of the easier wrong. When we're resilient, we're willing to take the courageous risk, knowing that we'll be okay, even if we fail. We'll get back up, dust ourselves off, learn the lessons that emerged, and get right back to work. The hawk will never die. The past 4 years, and especially over the past 3 semesters, They've given you the chance to become more resilient. Now do the work to make that so. Now, to go along with your last lecture as a St. Joe student, I'm almost done, I promise. I'm about to give you your last homework assignment. So after your well-deserved celebration with your family and friends, spend some time reflecting on your resilience. What connections have you made? Who are you with and for? And who will you allow to be with and for you? Where can you see beauty and gratitude even when you've struggled? Look where your curiosity has brought you and where it might lead you next. And what can you do over the next couple years to use your talents and gladness to serve a need out there in the world? And mom, dad, aunts, uncles, grandparents, siblings, loved ones, hold them accountable. This is their homework, they've got to do it. Please. So once you've done this homework and reflected on your resilience, make a plan for how to use it in service of good. Use it with courage. Fight for justice. Fight for truth. Fight for dignity for all. Fight for the harder right instead of the easier wrong. Fight for your ideas. Here's the last little secret. No one out there really knows what they're doing. You might think that there exists out there the big right answer, but instead it's just a bunch of people who are doing their best. Do you honestly think that the gritty mascot just emerged during your sophomore year, fully formed in its perfect state? No, it's a bunch of people doing their best. Being resilient gives you the courage to speak up, putting your ideas out there, and just doing your best. You will struggle. You'll face adversity and stress. And in fact, I think if you're not struggling, you might not be fighting for the right thing or fighting hard enough. And when you struggle, you will have the benefit of resilience, the resilience that will help see you through, and the resilience that you have built during your time here on Hawk Hill. Thank you so much, class of 2021. Congratulations from the bottom of my heart. The Hawk will never die. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dufresne. Wonderful. Well, class of 2021, it's now that time. We will now have the presentation for candidates for degrees in course by the deans of the schools and the conferring of those degrees by the president of the university. Dean Shaylee Menon will present the degree candidates from the College of Arts and Sciences. Dr. Menon, would you come to the podium?
Will the candidates for all bachelor's degrees from the College of Arts and Sciences please rise? These graduates have fulfilled all of the requirements established by St. Joseph's University for the Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Liberal Studies degrees, and are hereby presented to the President for the conferring of those degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of St. Joseph's University and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I hereby confer the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Liberal Studies on all those presented by the Dean and the faculty of the College of Arts and Sciences.
Graduates, you may now don your hoods. Will the graduates from the College of Arts and Sciences come forward to receive your diplomas? Please withhold your applause and refrain from cheering until all names have been read.
Mara Flynn. Maria Johnson. Aishwarya Vijayalakshmi Vale. Jalen Dotson. Tiffany Levine. Isabella Oliva. Carly Nicholas. Margaret Blanco. Marche Hurst. Caroline Manioki. Nicholas Schisler. Haley Fusaro. Alexa Polis. Tanya Jones. Camille Picone. Mallory Stubblebine. Julia Olugair. Manuel DeHamco III. Alexa Brody. Jordan Walker. Andresa Pagero. Brianna Boyer. Christine DeSanti. Megan Cicchini. Malvina Dymek. Kevin Lichtenfels. Polly Boyle. Carly Calhoun. Celia Hegarty. Kara Smith. Evan Wadsworth. Robert Murphy. Claire Berger. Colette McCarroll. Olivia Skorowski. Margaret Conger. Sophia Mirza. Scott Semler. Louis Phillips. Annie Mackert. Samuel Sauter III. Jonathan Bisciotti. Mariah Best Ruedas. Ann Herdman. James Wilson. Emma Woods. Noelle Woodman. Kara McLaughlin. Sarah Strickland. Olivia Vandewater. Laura Fuentes Poe. Mariana Ruiz Gonzalez. Adam Werner. Nicole Scarola. Annalie Maxwell. Samuel Andaloro. Jonathan Jack. Dayung Win. Nathan Tracy. Daniel Lee. Sean O'Donnell. Hugh Murchie. Michael McKelvey. Isabel Sanchez. Andrea Martinez Cotto, MS. Dylan Judge. Vaughn Saunders. Sarah Harwick. Abigail Shimanek. Lucas Van Sant. Cassidy Cavisto. Noel Lee. Patrick Jean-Louis Dubois de Vroyland. Kieran Morgan. Spencer Norris. Elizabeth Hutchinson. Janine Dempster. Emma Rowe. Anna Zalepa. Stephen Popasik III. Fallon Otis. Elizabeth Bleeker, Nina Sheehan, Emma Wright, Paige Diminick, Aiden Rogers, Theodore Dolan, Jessica Atu, Chelsea Evans, Asa Perez, Philip DeBobian, Robert Gentilucci, Lauren Perini, Lily Cosgrove, Anthony Mongillo, Luke McDonald, Aiden Bauer, Zachary Putman, Brendan Steigerwald, Emma Hoffman, Leah Herring, Catherine Augustine, Alexandra Peck, Natalie Will, Samantha Ambrose, Marisa Marte, Giovanna Picnali, Nicole Butch, Charles Lawal, Liam Brown, Stephen Eubanks Jr., Amanda Nava, Victor Hughes, Corinne Butner, Gabriela Gutierrez, Shannon Kelly, Donald Maloney III, Zoe Morozic, Francesca Simoni, Lindley Carmen, Catherine Cuccinata, John Grady IV, Caroline Vita, Matthew Donahue, Michelle Wheatley, Molly Hecht, James Fisher, Nikita Pejavara, Madeline Noble, Elena Kristen, Olivia Shargell, Nora Kenny, Jordan Butt, Kevin Heredia, Jessica Sillo, Candace Hamill, Aaron Metzger, David Diana III, Olivia Connolly, Andrea Mueller, Ryan Mulligan, Hunter Dixon, Lakia Turner, Finn Hunsaker, Evan Pomponio, Samantha O'Connell, Francis Snyder, Mark Amadio, Alvin Don, Gregory Patrizio, Tess Hall, Thomas Jenkins, Louis Serlenga Jr., John Peters, Leah Givens, Sophie Page, Siobhan Naughton, Zoe Martin, Julianne Hunt, Rebecca Gafenku, Leanne Rudazinski, Lillian D'Angelo, Nicholas Milando, Anthony Salato, Christopher Terry, Sean McDermott, Jillian Polsinelli, Michaela Monica, Sarah Vest, Shane Devine, Morgan Sherman, Taquana Agar, Kathleen Sellers, Kathleen Green, Anna Brubaker, Joey Chi-Ying Lam, Margaret Mallison, Marissa Abadanian, Natalia Maria Velasquez Lopez, Caroline Hamilton, Brendan McGill, Star McKenna, Hallie Kopecki, Emily Bendock, Sophia Reloba, Isabel Kokoza, Catherine Coogan, Lindsay Scrack, David Grana, Jack Hirschfield, Daniel Morales, Anthony Salavanti, Aaron Sajasi, Stephanie Rapp, Emily Costello, Natalie Burkert, Alyssa Bainbridge, Madeline Wargans, Jamie Stulek, Julianne Hester, Aaron Kelly, Anna Maria Berezowski, Sylvia Paroli, Emily Lehman, Kelsey McCartney, Sebastian Eaton, Joshua Richard, George Steinhoff, Robert Hasty, Kenneth Caluzzi, Michael Drugan III, Christina Sweeney, Julia Fox, Delaney Flynn, Rowan Sullivan, Nadia Cugini, Cassidy Robbins, Catherine Kwitneski, Juliana Bucafori, Ryan Daly, Noah Caruso, Fatmata Seiko, Sierra Flambert Long, Lillian Schillinger, Georgina Burrows, Lauren Kelly, Grace McEwen, Radine Thompson, Alexander Minori, John Slusser, Matthew Ridings, Skylar Raffensperger, Cassidy Atchison, Jordan Olenjinsky, Emily Peters, Abigail Silva, Alexa Gostovich, Emily Schaefer, Sean McBride, Catherine McPhillips, Claire Peer, Emma Herrick, Audrey Brown, Anna Keppel, Anna O'Brien, Emily Fordham, Riley Gayton, Sophia Ascario, Tara Callahan, Ashley McGoldrick, Claire Fitzgerald, Madison Card, Hannah Anderson, Megan Lee, Jessica Conroy, Jordan Grossbaum, Braylon Grill, Corinne O'Neill, Cameron Moore, Alexis McNona, Alana Fullerton, Kari Jones, Devin Justice, Daniel O'Sullivan, Olivia Massaro, Kayla O'Connor, John Gilroy, Carrie Greco, Leon Marich, Samantha Klump, Margaret Moyer, Khalil Thames, Lucy Mignon Glickman, Gina Spadia, Gianna Penizik, Michaela Boussard, Michael Stone, T. Wynn, Alexa Schaefer, Miguel Hurtado, Robert Herrick, Catherine Kelly, Elizabeth Sweeney, Julia Gudo, Jordan Sweeney, Nicholas Karpinski, Angela Benjamin, Andrea Collier, Charles Antner, Elizabeth Dolson, Allison Sanidius, Aaron Schaefer, Taj Walker, Katie Zerbo, William Hallett, Alexis Herrera, Chelsea Costa, Jenna O'Donnell, Shane Kierman, Charles Sterlacher, Michaela O'Hara, Christina Vafiatis, Victoria Budd, Austin Winterly, Hannah Grimes, Lauren Bello, Lillian McCann, Gavin O'Connor, Cal Schlemmer, Colin Peterson, Hemet Freeman, Noah Silverman, Jordan Freeland, Matthew Callahan, Raymond Zuhowski, Samantha Jenkins, Brian Beatty, Brandon Trush, Aaliyah Branch, Isabel Bowles, Gerardo Rivera Colon, Beatrice Mai Maglaki Tamale, Olivia Fonte, Adam Chester, Jillian Reed, Ann McConnon, Luis Nunez, Caitlin Clarich, Carly Malestein, August Perry, Alexander Romero, Tyler Switala, Madeline Girk, Melody Bauer, Catherine Van Schoonhoven, Ashley Wurzel, Hannah Schuhart, Reagan Davis, Lucy Pasano, Eva Doherty, Elena Wall, Reagan Smith, Flynn Martin, Randall Strayland, Sarah Morrison, James Marchione, Elizabeth Suvaris, Rachel Ogochukwu, Ye Shu, Guillermo Caro, Akeem Line, Tara Marley, George Beatty IV.
Ladies and gentlemen, please recognize all of the fine graduates from the College of Arts and Sciences. Now, Dean Joseph D'Angelo, the class of 1970, will present the degree candidates from the Ara Van K. Hobb School of Business. Dr. D'Angelo.
Will the candidates for all bachelor's degrees from the Erevan K. Haub School of Business, please rise. These graduates have fulfilled all of the requirements established by St. Joseph's University for the Bachelor of Science in Business Administration and the Bachelor of Business Administration degrees, and are hereby presented to the President for the conferring of those degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of St. Joseph's University and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I hereby confer the degrees of Bachelor of Science in Business Administration and the Bachelor of Business Administration on all those presented by the Dean and faculty of the Erevan K. Haub School of Business.
Graduates, you may now don your hoods. It's pretty complicated. Yeah. Will the graduates from the Erevan K. Haub School of Business come forward to receive your diplomas? Please withhold your applause and refrain from cheering until all names have been read.
Joel Wachman, Michael Haldeman Jr., Carly Clementi, Gianna Dimino, Shannon Daly, Catherine Macon, Catherine Iacono, Michaela Weiser, Hannah Creelman, Ryan Williamson, Casey Farrick, Madison Regan, Joseph Bates III, Kelsey Bolomia, Nelsie Bogran, Howard Spofford, Valerie Talone, Luis Escudero Leon, Mackenzie Macharulo, Hannah Antonacci, Megan McBride, Megan Filipski, Estelle Barnes, Caitlin Fulfero, Sarah Schisler, Rose Kokel, Malia Bartek, Andrew John, Evan Lally, Ryan Reynolds, Abigail Stager, Donald Henry, Chase Bernier, Adam Scagliarini, William Twombly, Dominic Polidoro, Christopher Reaney, Regina Levin, Joseph Gianos, Margaret Brown, Nicholas Pisciata, Haley Fritz, John Bonaventura, Patrick Lynch, Michael Gustafson, Nicholas Atanasio, Christian Magliero, Ryan Chiacera, Luisa Uribe, Michael Antonico, Yaonan Zhang, Patrick Falco, Rachel Butler, Claire Martin, Catherine McCoy Swinehart, Emily Hernick, Seth Griner, Aswin Prasad, Jennifer Kissinger, Kaylee Kopel, Moira Davis, Audra Lutz, Cassidy Davis, Sarah Allum, Michael Castaldo, Aisha Yassin, Shane Whites, Ethan Musher, Edward Gallagher II, Matthew Persichetti, Matthew McKessick, Isabella Flynn, Tana Lorraine Stillman, Victoria Moore, Jacqueline Collins, Anna Zalewski, Teresa Crosby, Shannon Mulgrew, Jacqueline Cocosiello, Patrice Ganter, Ryan Alexander, Matthew Cole, Sean Lafferty, Juliet Joseph, Jessica Seawalt, Ethan Rhodes, Giancarlo Musso, Jose Toro Garcia, Carolina Rodriguez Ompiere, Stella Gonzalez Perez, Alexander Samarco, Joseph Wormuth, Kevin Lee, Stephen Napoli, David Hudak Jr., Jaden Barling, Alexis Goro, Christina Berry, Catherine O'Sullivan, Matthew Kennedy, Jackson Fiala, Ryan Devine, Brian Vance, Cole Stetzer, Liam Bendo, Brendan Hewitt, Timothy Kavanaugh, John Somblakos, Patrick Kelly, Kyle Kenzerski, Connor Dessen, Drew Dessen, Dana Albanese, Victoria Peltzer, Danielle Clairvaux, Elena Garrity, Peter Catalano, Maximilian Zeller, Mario Leone III, Eleni Angelakis, Ramon Lloveras, Viviana Ward Perez, Brendan Falzone, Nelson Ward Perez, John Doran IV, Alexander Sakina, Christopher Baker, Kevin Verzella, Joseph Faya, Ryan Lippert, Stephen Coates, Oscar Humani, Alex Costantino, Christina Giuliani, Paulina Voitera, Robert Stephan Jr., Nicholas Koval, Brett Ravinsky, Nicholas Filardo, Danielle Barber, Nicole Barber, Nicole Serio, Ivana Di Pasquale, Angela Nuno, Bridget Lautensack, Christopher Shearer, Dylan Hansbury, Matthew Homiak, Jillian Conway, Sarah Butler, Thomas Bevilacqua, Timothy Gallucci, Zachary Zucala, Matthew Bachman, Michael Napoli, Dominic Coppola, James Flukie, Dionysius Charitos, Margaret Russo, James Zubert, Ryan Lowry, Michael Suzak, Kellen Kiernan, Caroline Lumna, Elizabetta Manello, Curtis Tokak, Patrick Ferriolo, James Haynes III, Jack Webb, Brian Shannon, Albert Pera, John Sharman, Skylar Althouse, Caitlin Quiet, Allison Kuvik, Dominic Filoramo, Gabriella Kuznetsov, Matthew Kasha, Francis Cray II, Julia Harris, Teresa Darno, Jack Sedor, Elizabeth Lee, Daniel Sioka, Matthew Miller, Samuel Turner, John McLean, Anthony Lamberti, Parker Ward, Thomas Bowers, Joseph Starzinski, Justin Aksu, Nicholas Kropp, Allison Sale, Hannah Fury, Ryan McGarity, Kennedy Rutt, Madeline Johnston, Holly Reidinger, William Tenza, Andrew Bayer, Kyle Lynch, Thomas Shoemaker, John Cromchad Jr., Ryan Flood, Christian Calabrese, Riley Frade, Daniel Matranga, Nicholas Persino, Patrick Healy, Arland Patuki, Riley Daniels, Nico Dennis, Francesco Albarella, Peter Gatus III, Joseph Kakamo, Fiona Purse, Stephen Vickers, Megan DiVittorio, Sarah Janssen, Abigail Messner, Elizabeth Newman, Valerie Shepard, Ethan Griffith, Kenneth Noelle Sr., Natalie Esses, Sarah Irish, Nuria Fresno, Jenna Jahimiak, Justina Jacob, Connor Healy, Justin Keegan, Joseph Trudeau, Zavon Sample, Jillian Garvey, Ryan Goodman, Peter Gilligan, Alex McNeil, Mark McDonald, Vincent DeAndrea, Caroline Benedict, Kirsten Decord, Melissa Smith, Mark Basili, Nicholas Randazzo, Tristan Davis, Sean Purvis, Daniel Munley Jr., Anthony Longprey, Caitlin Jaycott, Taylor Marinelli, Ashley Stokes, Kyle Blewett, Justin Bonner, Joshua Casciano, Rose DeFrank, Vincent Giordano, Stephen McClellan, Daniel Mink, James McPherson, Maximilian Milano, Michael Scanlon Jr., Christian Coney, Carrie McDonough, Michael Fideli, Alexandra Martin, Justin Campbell, Spencer Cohen, Gabriel Mejias, Chrislyn Kane, Dylan Vogt, Hannah Losavio, Aiden Watkins, Alan Kalenbeck, Kyle Allen, Alexi Miller, Sophia Filippo, Carl DeMarco III, Claire Cuddy, Sabrina Morales, Jennifer Cindy, Matthew Unpinko, Sierra Fabio, Michaela Salerno, Olivia Tomino, Brian Gassaway, Matthew Ray, Elizabeth Gillis, Carly Koliakovo, Emily Marino, Liam Fallows, Julia Bates, Kevin Chaparro, Arealuwa Bonwo, Ashley Chapman, Melissa Bray, Derek Adezio, Elise Lenhart, Quinn O'Hara, Erica Miller, Gregory Bowman, Philip Dwyer, Molly Jacobs, Mary McGinnis, Morgan Patton, Susan Stepik, Elise Young, Joseph Doherty, Mary Sheehan, Ryan Shields, Daniel Judice, Frank Castano, Kyle Hunsberger, Connor Riley, Andrew Walkley, Charles Saggiomo, Patrick McCary, Thomas Powers, William Montgomery III, Kevin Lutz, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Stephen Nigro, Corey Hunter, William Kerr III, Jenna Lucky, Gianna Pereira, Lauren Weiss, Jason Peacock, Hannah Welly, Alexander Mayo, Rebecca Alsinski, Finn Monahan, Colin Seabrook, Stephanie Senator, Stephen Passione Jr., William Oxenford III, Patrick Troyce, Kyle Frazier, Dalton Holland, Brandon Hollenbaugh Jr., Thomas Salucci, Andrew Weipert, Juliana Katchuk, Natalie Counts, Christopher Tyler King, Andrew Perlman, James Patagna, Nicholas Colella, Morgan LaPergolo, Aaron Mongaluzzi, Gianna Biancanello, Calliope Efstration, Catherine Roosh, Mary Maloney, Gianna Solomano, Andrew Camera, Christopher Shallow, Joseph McIntyre, Walter Cronin, Aaron Sutter, Simona Milea, CJ Berger, Kelly Corbett, Maria Venturo, Lindsay Levan, Brianna Mueller, Christian Vieira, Kylil Key Redmond, John Yeager, David Nate, Trent Mason, Andrew Denitis, Eric Mulholland, Joseph Nizio III, Christopher DeMarco, Anastasia Calathis, Casey Clemenson, Larissa Bazil, Alexandra Bewley, Grace Jablonowski, Caitlin Spira, Shannon Neely, Emma Weber, Carolyn McGuire, Jenna Lessel, Shayna Hildreth, Joseph Vitak, Ana Beatriz Andreu Zamora, Gabriela Reyes Ruiz, Abigail Lenz, Ale Johnny, Catherine Grimm, Juliana Bongiovanni, Gabrielle Bove, Sophia Albano, Mia Sinatra, Andrew Whelan, Brian Shields, Matthew Steele, Kyle Heiss, Alexander Bischoff, Thomas Fisher, Lindsay Devlin, Paul Perpiglia, Shane Cox, Stephen Basacco Jr., Alexis DePasqua, Nicholas Mollusky, Michael Fogarty II, Christopher Murray, Nicholas Claserdo, Rachel Murray, Brooke Neal, Amanda Diamadeo, Grace Sweeney, Anya Daly, Lindsay Longo, Colin Pirtle, Giorgio Vavlas, Connor O'Malley, Rogelio Arosamena Navarro, Julia Kudanova, Cade Macbeth, Evan Trioli, Matthew Leiden, Shane Goldsmith, Brooke Kenzig, Hannah Delaney, Lisa McKeon, Deanna Latini, Aaron Daly, Kristen Daly, Sophia Matillion, Sabrina Yeskus, Joseph Horton, Michael Urban, Mark Cannon, Kenneth Hune, Zachary Bowl, Kaylin Kiwi, Yvonne Moriarty, Rose Egan, Sean Cunningham, Brandon McKernan, Lily Brandimarte, Adriana Formica, Nathan Reen, Gavin Heyer, Frederick Helmick III, Brennan Yeebsley, Harris Beckmeyer, Nathaniel Toby, Harrison Delsis, Joseph Friddle, Jacob Toll, Jeremy Munoz, Caitlin Lavery, Ryan McManus, Mara Cudahy, Lauren Rogers, Mary Graham, Emma Hughes, Sarah Hayes, Skylar Dorenkamp, Stephanie Kelly, Maggie Malloy, Alyssa Manley, Samantha McGee, Mackenzie Staska, Emma Murphy, Cameron Ludens, Harrison Brady, Jared DiDomenico, Ryan McSorley, Nicholas Monroe, Gregory Fernandez, Marissa Abel, Shannon Coleman, Dylan Wensky, Brittany Romeo, Donato Capuoto, David Young, Nicholas Amici, Sidney Stein, William Egbert, Haley Rabel, Caroline Manucci, Molly McNerney, Aiden Pasquarelli, Jacob Ayub, Evan McDougall, Braden Stagg, Brian Hoffman, Nicholas Rossi, Allison Grenier, Hannah Gopez Sheehan, Leonardo Krupek, Luke Amoroso, Nicholas Myers, Zachary Lambert, Nathan Perone, Christian Nelly,
Would you please join me in recognizing the fine graduates from the Erevan K. Hobbs School of Business. Dean Angela McDonald will now present the degree candidates from the School of Health Studies and Education. Dr. McDonald.
Will the candidates for the bachelor's degrees from the School of Health Studies and Education please rise? These graduates have fulfilled all of the requirements established by St. Joseph's University for the Bachelor of Science degrees and are hereby presented to the President for the conferring of those degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of St. Joseph's University and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I hereby confer the degrees of Bachelor of Science and Bachelor of Arts on all those presented by the Dean and faculty of the School of Health Studies and Education.
Graduates, you may now don your hoods. Will the graduates from the School of Health Studies and Education come forward to receive your diplomas? Please withhold your applause and refrain from cheering until all names have been read.
Natasha Garris, Alexa Markley, Caitlin Gallagher, Eileen Berner, Zara Dugan, Claire Dempsey, Catherine Corriston, Allison Watson, Quinn McGuire, Julia Watras, Shay Dominici, Francesca Sayand, Nicole Fenton, Veronica Nemeth, Samantha Paluca, Abigail Presley, Tess Stranick, Annabelle O'Reilly, Mary Donnelly, Chanel Boyer, Sharice Stewart, Emily Festa, Amanda Miller, Jennifer Christire, Catherine Lance, Samantha DeBundo, Emily Henry, Kathleen Brahaney, Alexis Piatti, Anastasia Paniotu, Murren Tang, Rachel Hahn, Robert McGilligan Jr., Colleen Kemple, Cassandra Hahn, Julia Testa, Alyssa Kamey, Zoe Lambert, Augusta Danley, Kella Pacifico, Kelsey Petton, Jacob Morris, Christina Maiz, Adriana Quinones Lopez, Kirsten Threlfall, Kaylee Edwards, Megan Doherty, Natalie Aselta, Kirsten Cox, Alyssa Bentz, Lula Roach, Kayla Cohn, Erin Hicks, Taylor Geiger, Kara Sardella, Colleen Kelly, Demetra Zisios, Nia Brummy, Victoria Tuig, Bryn McCall, Gabriella Parada, Leslie Dix, Jacob Holmes, Brendan Price, Claire Podles, Asia Mian Smith, Lisa Williams, Catherine Battaglia, Julia Scalfaro, Gabriella Spadero, Gabriella Huber, Brianna Platt, Carly Netting, Patricia Slutowski, Ryan O'Loughlin, Gabrielle Stevenson, Oretha Berry, Jeremy Campbell, Audrey D'Amico, Gabriella Martino, Erin Riley Donnelly, Nikita Solanki, Christina Matsumura, Chloe Ramirez, Kimberly Smagula, Megan Keenan, Stephanie Tollefson, Elizabeth Kennedy, Veronica Holloway, Michael Joseph, Donald Whiteman, Danielle DeStacio, Allison Chamberlain, Caitlin O'Brien, Callista Klein, Anna Seifert, Taylor Newman Farr, Madeline Stewart Hill, Alicia Forrest, Crystal Pineros, Sydney Bennett, Edna Bonsu, Kara Tomasello, Kira Reagan, Emily Bolton, Haley Connor, Jennifer Kraft, Amanda Sassi, Bridget McNamara. Emily Sherival.
Will you please join me in recognizing the fine graduates from the School of Health Studies and Education? It is now my pleasure to welcome the 28th President of St. Joseph's University, Dr. Mark C. Reed.
Good morning, class of 2021, and welcome to the family and friends we are so pleased to have with us here today. To our graduates watching at home, you are missed here on Hawk Hill, but you will never be forgotten, and you are with us here today as well. On behalf of the faculty, staff, and entire St. Joseph's community, I offer you my heartfelt and deepest congratulations on this special day. And graduates, let's take a moment to acknowledge the people whose dreams of this day stretch all the way back to the days you were born, the network of people who provided advice, support, and companionship to you on this journey. So I ask the graduates to turn around and give a grateful wave to your family and friends here today, behind you, the side, or towards the cameras. Know, too, that along with our heartfelt congratulations to each of you comes in deep and heartfelt admiration for your resilience in the face of adversity. And I thank Dr. Dufresne for his wonderful words about this important topic. It is my hope that your time at St. Joseph's prepared you for a future of great opportunity and great challenge. If we've done our part and you have done yours, you are ready to face uncertainty and take on whatever life has in store for you next. Uncertainty, unprecedented, unexpected, words that are too overused in the last year and a half as you've learned to navigate the pandemic and at the same time continue moving forward in pursuit of your degree. But the point is this: you've had to put the skills and lessons you've learned on Hawk Hill to the test before you even left campus. And I was witness to how you have persevered through major shifts in just about every aspect of your lives, from your coursework to your living situation to your employment and your family and social lives. And let me say that I am beyond impressed with and proud of how you have managed it all. The stories coming out of our community in recent weeks have affirmed the education that we've been providing at St. Joe's for almost 170 years, one that cultivates academic curiosity and a greater sense of purpose. And let me remind you that the education you obtained here at St. Joe's isn't really just for you. It's meant to serve others and the world at large. So with confidence, embrace your futures, be powerful forces for good and beacons of faith, of optimism that we know you will be. The world needs your brand of brave, compassionate, and able-minded leadership, and may learning be a lifetime endeavor and justice a worthy pursuit. As you move through your futures, know that our prayers follow you. Graduates, always remember that you are loved. We love you, your parents, family, and friends love you, and God loves you. And before I finish, say it with me loud and proud: the Hawk will never die. And now I ask that the university singers lead us through the singing of the alma mater. Please stand.
Joseph's hail, our blood runs proud to old tradition's fame. For words of old on history's scroll shed glory on your name. To honor God, to love God's world, crusaders for each frame. Against the sky our colors fly, deep crimson, gold, and gray.
Thank you so much, University Singers. At this time, I ask Father Dan Joyce to come to the podium again to offer the benediction. Father Joyce.
Let us pray. Ad maiorem Dei gloriam. To you, O God, be given all glory and honor as you have blessed us with the gifts of intellect, meaningful work, and a bold education. May these gifts empower us forward to create the future and transform our world. Your Spirit accompanies us always. As we discern your Spirit in each moment, may we always seek your aid and see your generous offer of grace, so we may glorify you in all we do, and we may never forget who will see us through. For one day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. Glory, praise, and honor to you, ad maiorem Dei gloriam. Amen.
Amen. And now, as one of our last traditions, I invite the graduates to move your tassel from the right to the left as you join 1% of the world's population of college graduates. Our ceremony is now concluding. We ask that you remain in your places until our honored guests have left the stage and the academic procession has marched down the main aisle. Dismissal will begin with the School of Health Studies and Education graduates. Please follow the directions of your marshals and keep your distance as you exit. Graduates of the class of 2021, we salute you for your achievements and wish you well on your life's journey.